1 provides that a bill having been read a first time shall stand committed to the relevant department or committee without question put. Despite the said provisions, Standing Order 127(1)A provides, and I quote, "Save for a finance bill, the Speaker may refer various provisions of a bill proposing to amend more than one statute in its principal provisions to the relevant department or committees in accordance with their mandates." Honorable members, I therefore direct that the various provisions of the bill stand committed to the departmental committees for consideration and public participation as follows. The Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning will deal with the provisions of the bill relating to the Banking Act, Cap 488, the Central Bank Act, Cap 491, and the Microfinance Act, Cap 493C. The Departmental Committee on Trade, Industry, and Cooperatives will deal with the provisions of the bill relating to the Standards Act, Cap 496, the Kenya Accreditation Service Act, Cap 496A, the Scrap Metal Act, Cap 503, the Special Economic Zones Act, Cap 517A, the Kenya Industrial Research and Development Institute Act, Cap 511A, and the National Electronic Single Window System Act, Cap 485D. Honorable members, I further direct that the lead committee on this bill, for purposes of consolidating the portions, will be the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning. The two committees should move expeditiously and undertake public participation on their respective portions of the bill. Thereafter, the lead committee is expected to table a consolidated report in the House prior to commencement of second reading. Thank you. Next.
Order number 3, messages.
Honorable members, I have a message from His Excellency the President on nomination of persons for appointment to constitutional commissions and other state offices. Honorable members, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 42(1), I wish to report to the House that I've received 5 messages from His Excellency the President relating to nomination of the persons of the following state offices. A, Chairperson and members of the Board of the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, IPOA. B, Chairperson and members of the Commission on Administration of Justice, CAJ. C, Chairperson and members of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, SRC. D, Chairperson and a member of the National Gender and Equality Commission, NGEC. And E, Second Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of Kenya. In the first message, His Excellency the President conveys that in exercise of powers conferred under Section 115 of the Independent Policing Oversight Authority Act 2011, as read together with Section 3 and 5 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act 2011, he nominates A, Mr. Ahmed Isaac Hassan CBS as the Chairperson of the Board of IPOA. B, the following as members of IPOA Board: Ms. Anne Wanjiku Mwangi, Dr. Micah Onyego Nyakego, Mr. Boniface Kipkemboi Samati, Dr. Annette Mbogo, Honorable John Mushiri Nyaga, Mr. Ken Williams Nyakyomita, and Ms. Jacqueline Lukalo Mwenesi. Honorable members, the second message. In the second message, His Excellency the President conveys that in exercise of powers conferred by Article 250 of the Constitution and Section 116 of the Commission on Administration of Justice Act 2011, as read together with Section 3 and 5 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act 2011, he nominates the following persons for appointment to the respective offices in the Commission on Administration of Justice: Mr. Charles Orinda Dulo, Chairperson; Honorable Charles Njagwa Kanyi, Member; Ms. Dorothy Jemator Kimengich, Member. In the third message, His Excellency the President conveys that in exercise of powers conferred by Article 230 and 250 of the Constitution and Section 710 of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission Act 2011, as read together with Section 3 and 5 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act 2011, he nominates A. Sami Chepkwony as the chairperson of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, and B. the following as members of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission to represent various institutions as indicated. Ms. Jane Gataka Njage, a nominee of the Teacher Service Commission. Major General Retired Martin Kizito Ongoi, CBS, nominee of the Defense Council. Mr. Mohammed Aden Abdi, nominee of the Senate on behalf of county governments. Dr. Gilda Odera, nominee of the Federation of Kenya Employers. Dr. Geoffrey Apollo Omondi, nominee of the Central Organization of Trade Unions, KOTU, and Mr. Leonid Ashindu, nominee of the Association of Professional Societies in East Africa, APSEA. In the fourth message, honorable members, His Excellency the President conveys that in exercise of powers conferred by Article 250 of the Constitution and Section 116 of the National Gender and Equality Commission Act 2012, as read together with Section 3 and 5 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act 2011, he has nominated Honorable Rehema Dida Jaldesa and Mr. Michael Mbithuka Nzomo, PWD, for appointment as the chairperson and member of the National Gender and Equality Commission, respectively. In the fifth message, honorable members, His Excellency the President conveys that in exercise of powers conferred by Section 13B of the Central Bank of Kenya Act Cap 491, as read together with Section 5 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act 2011, he nominates Mr. Gerald Nyaoma Arita to the position of Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of Kenya. Honorable members, His Excellency the President now therefore seeks the approval of the House on the nominees for appointment to the aforementioned positions. Standing Order 45 provides that upon receipt of notification of nomination for appointments, such nomination shall stand committed to the relevant departmental committee of the House for consideration. In this regard, honorable members, I hereby refer the message from His Excellency the President together with the CVs, the reports of the respective selection panels, and that of the Public Service Commission for the case of the nominee to the position of Deputy Governor of the Central Bank on Administration and Internal Security. Chairperson and members of the Commission on Administrative Justice to the Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs. Chairperson and members of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission to the Committee on Labor. Chairperson and member of the National Gender and Equality Commission to the Committee on Social Protection. Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of Kenya, the Finance and National Planning Committee, joint consideration with the counterpart committee in the Senate. Honorable members, noting the need to expeditiously conclude the approval hearings and given the calendar of the House, I direct the committees to immediately commence the approval processes, notify the nominees and the general public of the time and place for holding the approval hearings, and thereafter, upon conclusion, table their respective reports on or before 26th of November 2024 to enable the House to consider the matter within the statutory timelines. I thank you. Next.
Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Wednesday, November 13, 2024, afternoon sitting. Reports of the Auditor General and Finance financial statement for the year ended 30th June 2024 and the certificates therein respect of number 1, Affordable Housing Finance Project, IBRD, credit number 8958-KE, National Assembly. Number 2, Kenya Symbiosity Program, CEDA, number 51110060, Council of Governors. Number 3, ADB Africa Climate Summit Project, the National Treasury. Number 4, Eastern Africa Regional Transport, Trade and Development Facilitation, IDA, credit number 5638-KE, Kenya Revenue Authority. Number 5, Technical Support Program Financing Agreement number KE/FED/2009/2/021-421. Number KE/FED/023-733 and number KE/FED/037-941. National Treasury. Number 6, Microfinance Sector Support Credit Project, credit number CKE/300401E and CKE/601001E, National Treasury. And number 7, National Information Platform for Food Security and Nutrition Project, credit number food/2017/393-022, Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I beg to lay.
Thank you. The Chair Labour. Chair Labour Karemba.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House. Today, Wednesday, 13th November 2024. Report of the Departmental Committee on Labor on its consideration of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission Bill, National Assembly Bill number 21 of 2024. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Next, Chair Education. Meli.
Yes, Member for Luanda.
Maungu is your assistant.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, the Wednesday, 13th November 2024. Reports of the Departmental Committee on Education on its consideration of 1, the Universities Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2023. 2, the Basic Education Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 59 of 2023. 3, Universities Amendment Bill number 3, National Assembly Bill number 64 of 2023. 4, Universities Amendment number 5, Bill, National Assembly Bill number 79 of 2023. And 5, the Universities Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 16 of 2024. Thank you.
Thank you, Dick. Next.
Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements.
Majority Leader, is the Minister for Roads coming this afternoon? Okay, before we get there, let's go to order number 8. Yes, Oundo.
Honorable Speaker, I don't know whose mistake it is. Neither I was in the table office a few minutes ago. The responses that the minister is coming to give, we have not had the opportunity to have copies in advance so that we can read, understand, and be in a good position to ask questions and even allow whatever you call, to also ask rejoinder questions. Is it possible we could facilitate through our office, we get responses so that we can look at them before the minister takes the podium? We would request, we are requesting, Speaker.
Okay, Clerk, I think, Honorable Ondo, we can deal with that on a need basis. There are certain questions which once the minister answers, the questioner can raise a supplementary relating to the adequacy of the answer. But if you need to get some written answer, the clerk will facilitate. You can see the clerk at the table. Order, honorable members, call out order number 8.
Order number 8, motion, consideration of the mediated version of the National Rating Bill, National Assembly Bill number 55 of 2022. Question to be put.
Order, honorable members on their feet, take your seats. Sirma, take your seat. Honorable Kaluma, take your seat. Honorable members, I now put the question at order number 8, which is that pursuant to the provisions of Article 113 of 32 of the Constitution and Standing Order 153, Order Ngong. Order. I repeat. I put the question at order number 8, which is that pursuant to the provisions of Article 1132 of the Constitution and Standing Order 153, this House adopts the report of the Mediation Committee on the National Rating Bill, National Assembly Bill number 55 of 2022, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 5th November 2024, and approves the mediated version of the National Rating Bill, National Assembly Bill number 55 of 2022. As members of that opinion say aye. Aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. We'll go back to questions. Do we have any request for statements? Yes. Honorable Namwar, you indicated that you're dropping your request for a statement, right?
Most guided, Honorable Speaker.
Okay, Majority Leader, Honorable Namwar tells me that the statement he was requesting was adequately dealt with by the visit of His Excellency the President to his county. So he's dropped it. Thank you for saving our time and acknowledging that your issues have been addressed. Let's go to questions now. Can you bring in the minister? Namwar. Yes?
Thank you, Speaker. I have a pending statement that has not been resolved to date, Your Excellency, Your Honorable Speaker.
See the clerks at the table or the table of office so that it can be put on the order paper tomorrow.
There was a ruling that you had been able to make before regarding KWS issue with the fishermen in Sibiloi. You had resolved that we have a committee, some kind of a multi-sector committee to look at the issue, and up to date, the issue was brought in June. Up to now, when you had made a ruling, nothing has been able to be processed, Honorable Speaker.
I advise you, Honorable Namwar, to see the clerk at the table so that they can bring to the attention of the Speaker the issue that you are raising. Okay, Majority Leader, can you bring in your minister? Honorable members, the CS for Roads and Transport is in the house to respond to your questions. Clerk, I have received communication from two members, Honorable Kili Daniel Carrido, to defer his question, and Honorable Paul Musimi Zengu to defer their questions, so when we reach them, you skip them. Honorable Churchill, welcome to the House, and honorable members, as we always do, the questioner asks his or her question. I'll allow one joyrider to each question. Question 167 of 2023, member for Baringo Central, Joshua Kandie. Joshua Kandie is not in the house. Pardon? You cannot stand in for him unless there's a written request to the Speaker. Question deferred. Question 168 of 2023, member for Mwingi, that one is deferred. Question 178, member for Kinango, the Honorable Gonzi Rai. Go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to ask question number 178, stroke 2023.
Hold there. I had skipped one page. We have two questions by private notice. The first one by Wakili Mureu. We'll start with the questions by private notice. Wakili Mureu, that is question 013 of 2024.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to seek for answer to question 13, so 2024. And I start with question number 1. Could the Cabinet Secretary provide the current status of any negotiations for a concession agreement between the government and the Adani Group regarding the management of Jomo Kenyatta International Airport? The second question, Speaker, state the details of any consultations and public participation engagements that have been undertaken by the Ministry of Roads and Transport regarding this matter in line with Article 10 of the Constitution. Number 3, clarify whether there is full compliance with provisions of Article 10(2) of the Constitution on the principles of governance, including but not limited to upholding good governance, integrity, transparency, and accountability in the discussions on the proposed transfer of management of JKA. And the fourth question, confirm that in accordance with provisions of Article 35 of the Constitution, publishing and publicization of all information relating to the proposed agreement between the government and Adani was affected. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, honorable members. I'm happy to be in the House this afternoon to respond to the various questions and to be quick and specific to Wakili Mureu's Mheshimiwa's question on Adani and whether to provide the current status of any negotiations for concession agreement. Chair, I want to confirm that all engagements between the government of Kenya and Adani have been suspended by a court order issued on 9 September 2024 in HCJR E199/2024, Kenya Human Rights Commission and Law Society of Kenya, Kenya Airports Authority, and 4 others. The court issued a conservatory order prohibiting any persons from implementing or further implementing or acting on the privately initiated proposal for the development and operation of JKIA by Adani Holdings Limited, pending the hearing and determination of this application by the court. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, members, there is no concession agreement that has been executed between the government of Kenya and Adani. And as I answer the following questions, I'll be seeking to get the honorable members, Speaker, to appreciate the process of concessioning a PIP. And we will just stop midway ahead of developing and signing the concession agreement. And so we are going through the court process and using that as a public participation process to ensure that we do provide all the information and ensure that all Kenyans are fully appraised on this new investment platform that will bring in foreign investment and help us to grow some of our infrastructural that we need to develop. Honorable Speaker, on the members on the second question, which is to state the details of any consultation and public participation engagements that have been undertaken. At the time when we got the halt, we had a program of stakeholder engagement, and we had already had formal engagement with the Kenya Airports Authority senior management stakeholders on the 15th of August 2024 at JKIA head office boardroom, which was properly scheduled. We'd had engagements with the KAA JKIA section heads stakeholders engagement meeting, which was held on 19th August 2024, also at JKIA Courage Rooftop Conference Room. We had JKIA staff engagement meeting held on 20th August 2024 at JKIA Presidential Pavilion. We had held engagements with Kenya Aviation Workers Union, CAU stakeholders engagement meeting, which was held on 20th August 2024 at JKIA Conference Room. Kenya Civil Aviation Authority stakeholders engagement meeting, which we held on 26th August 2024 at KCAA headquarters. We'd also had engagements, Speaker, honorable members, with the Kenya Airways stakeholders engagement meeting held on 26th August 2024 at Kenya Airways headquarters Pride Center, Embakasi. We had engagement with JKIA concessionaires, retailers, and all business owners engagements in a meeting we held on 28th August 2024 at Eka Hotel. We had engagement with Kenya Associations of Air Operators in a meeting held on 29th August 2024 at 4 Point by Sheraton Airport, Nairobi. And finally, with engagements with JKIA airline, air operators, ground handlers, GOK agencies, cargo engagement meetings, which was held on 30th August 2024 at Amara Ole Sereni. Honorable Speaker, the public participation plan was to be developed. However, this process, like I said, has been put on hold following the conservatory orders issued by the Honorable Court in judicial review case number HCJR/E199/2024, which has in turn suspended the implementation of the proposed project. And on the clarification on whether there is full compliance with the provision of Article 10(2) of the Constitution on the principles of governance, including but not limited to upholding good governance, integrity, transparency, accountability. In the discussions on the proposed transfer of management of JKIA, Honorable Speaker, there has been full compliance until we were stopped the concessioning through a PIP is a process. It's not like the PPDA or the public procurement and disposal system. It's a whole process. And there has been, I want to confirm, compliance with Article 10.2 of the Constitution and strict adherence to the Public-Private Partnership Act and guidelines issued by the Public-Private Partnership Directorate and Committee. Good governance, Honorable Speaker, integrity, transparency, and accountability has been adhered to through the conduct of due diligence, which has revealed that, like we found out up to the time where we got the orders, that Adani has not been debarred by any country. There has not been engagement in acts of corruption that we so far found it on due diligence. Is not insolvent, is tax compliant in all jurisdictions in which it has local tax presence, is not a default on payment of social security and employment benefits, and its directors or officers have not been convicted of any criminal offense related to professional conduct within a period of 5 years preceding the submission of the proposal, and have not otherwise been disqualified pursuant to administrative suspension or debarment proceeding. Speaker, honorable members, furthermore, the privately initiated proposal has been subjected to evaluation and analysis by numerous government agencies, including the PPP Directorate, the National Treasury, and the Transaction Advisor duly qualified. Therefore, the process of considering the proposal by Adani at the point where we had reached has been rigorous and with strictly following the due process set by law. On the confirmation, Speaker, honorable members, that in accordance with the provision of Article 35 of the Constitution with respect to publishing and publication of all information relating to proposal and agreements between government and Adani, let me confirm, honorable members, Speaker, that all relevant information concerning the said project has been disclosed to almost all the stakeholders. And like I said, we continue to use the court process as a public participation process because the documents are out there. The documents were submitted to Senate when they requested us for those documents. Disclosure of information is also being undertaken within the ambit of the existing case that has been filed in court, like I've mentioned. Speaker, honorable members, that is the response on the provision of information under Article 35. On the notice, on the question to provide a comprehensive report on the statistics, sorry, I think I'm done on the Adani, Speaker, thank you.
Moreo.
Mr. Speaker, I am extremely surprised by the Cabinet Secretary assertion that Adani has no corruption case anywhere in the world, has been compliant with taxes in where they have local jurisdiction of paying taxes. Because, Mr. Speaker, and there are documents which I can be able to submit before the House, Adani has been barred from doing business in Australia. It has been barred from doing business in India, purely for the same reason we're talking about. Therefore, I think here, Mr. Speaker, the facts which have been asserted by the Cabinet Secretary are not correct, and I think they might need to get further and proper details. However, Mr. Speaker, this matter is before the court, and now maybe since we cannot be able to discuss in much in detail, but I think I just wanted to raise that issues which are not factual, which I would like the Cabinet Secretary to just confirm, and I'll submit these papers before the House. Nevertheless, I do not wish to have this matter discussed further because it is in court, and therefore, but for purposes of record, I'll be able to submit this record before the House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair will have to look at those papers. Yes, yes, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Just to be able to guide the House, it's very important that when assertions are made by a member, they must actually prove it. And the only way to get correct information is to get the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to write to those countries' Ministry of Foreign Affairs and receive a confirmation that those allegations that you're making are indeed true. Because the precedent we are setting in the country is we are going to scare away public-private partnership. We are going to scare away investors from Kenya. Because if we do not have money as a country, the only other way to fund infrastructure programs in the country is through public-private partnerships. And so we cannot, as leaders, be the ones scaring away investors. So I think he should be given a timeline within which to confirm that information to the public through the official channels, not by his own rumor mongering and statements.
Pass on your documents to the clerk for the speaker to look at. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. First, I had wanted the Honorable Mureu to table, because he said he is tabling something. He should, as a matter of fact, table the documents but not show us WhatsApp messages. Because now what Honorable Speaker is referring are things I can see him just Googling from his phone. Honorable Speaker, you know, we cannot always treat this House as if we are...
Order, Majority Leader. Honorable Mureu, you said, as a matter of fact, that you have papers.
That he can table.
But
Yes,
I can
he should
see you
table.
walking to the clerk with your phone. So which papers do you have to table? Because even what is on your phone can be printed and be...
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think electronic documents, we are at the age of information. And the only, Mr. Speaker, what I just need to do is to have it printed and give it to the clerk.
That is exactly
However, Mr.
what
Speaker,
I have said.
Yes, I have it over here. They have the report, Mr. Speaker. But, Mr. Speaker, I think it's important also, as you talk about the benefits of PPP, transparency is most important. This issue...
Order, Honorable Mureu, you are now making a speech. I just told you, if you have documents, as you said you do have, if you have them electronically, go to the table office, print them, and table them for any member to look at. Yes, and it will not be at your cost at all. It's at the cost of Parliament. Yes. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, beg that we either redact from the Hansard, because, Honorable Speaker, what the Honorable Mureu had said that he has documents that he can table, because clearly he had no documents to table. Honorable Speaker, I was just telling Honorable Mureu here, no, it's different when you are discussing matters at Kirwara Market from the House. The House, you have to come and debate with facts, not the way we debate in our marketplaces. And Honorable Speaker, because what we tend to do many a times are to make political statements for the gallery. Because we know we are on national TV, we want to be quoted in the evening news that you have evidence, but you have not tabled any evidence, and therefore must be on the Hansard and in the records of this House that the Honorable Mureu has tabled no evidence of either Adani being debarred from doing business in Australia and all the other countries he named. But Honorable Speaker, back to my question to the Cabinet Secretary. And I had wished that's what Honorable Mureu would dwell on, because the questions in the minds of Kenyans is that Adani Group was said to have initiated a privately initiated PPP proposal. We would want to know, and Kenyans would want to know, are there other investors from any other part of the world that may have had other proposals that the Kenya Airports Authority was considering together with that of Adani? Because the questions Kenyans have been asking is whether there has been transparency, whether there has been openness in the manner in which the Kenya Airports Authority and the concerned ministry has dealt with this question of Adani. And I had hoped that the Honorable Mureu would take the Cabinet Secretary to task to explain to Kenyans what measures they took to inform Kenyans whether there have been other prior proposals from other countries, from other airline management companies, from any other part of the world.
Ask your question.
Honorable Speaker, therefore, I would want to see here whether the Cabinet Secretary can tell us, have there been other proposals that were being considered together with this one for Adani? Because what we have heard in the media is what probably you hear many people quote. But we would want to hear from you, are there other proposals that you have considered? And this Adani one that you tell us now is in court. How far had it gone in terms of your engagements with Adani? Had it moved to the point where you are now discussing a concession, or are you just considering the PIP proposal from Adani? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Oundo.
Honorable Speaker, let me direct my question to the Cabinet Secretary. We passed here the Framework Act, the Principal Act, and it has got very clear stages and steps to be taken before you implement a PP. Probably the Minister could be gracious enough to tell us whether the entire steps that were proposed and contemplated in the Act were ever followed to the letter, to a point they even go to the point of almost signing the agreement, and whether the law was followed as provided for in the law and the regulations. Thank you, Speaker.
Yes, Minister.
Speaker, thank you. Honorable Ichungwa's question is regarding whether we had another privately initiated proposal in respect to JKIA. Honorable Speaker, we do not have any other privately initiated proposal in respect to concessioning of JKIA. Honorable members, to run through a PIP, you will need to have done a feasibility study, and it is a serious submission. It is not a piece of letter. So when you submit a privately initiated proposal, it is a very well done piece of work, having looked at the whole scope of the proposal and what needs to be done. So with respect to that, honorable members, we do not have any other privately initiated proposal by any concessionaire in respect to Jomo Kenyatta International Airport concessioning, or even under PPP, we don't. With respect to Oundo's question, Mheshimiwa Oundo, the PPP, like I said, is not, the process is articulated from the time when you submit. It goes through the due process in line with the PPP Act, which includes PPP approval by the PPP committee, project development phase and feasibility study, the evaluation process of the feasibility study report, the PPP committee approval of the feasibility study, the procurement of a technical assistant, and PPP committee consideration and approval of the negotiated outcome. And at the time when we got the court, when it went to court, we were at the time drafting and negotiating a concession agreement, looking at some of the technical issues like the return on equity, the debt equity ratio, the value for money, and so on and so forth. So that is where we were. But like I said, we had also gone through the due process, and we were about to finalize the public engagement. So, honorable members, that is when we got the orders, and like I did indicate, we are using this time to ensure that we communicate and we do provide information to Kenyans. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Basil.
Thank you, Speaker. My supplementary is actually tied to what Oundo asked. Can the CS tell us whether JKI was operating at a loss for it to be considered for privatization?
CS.
Thank you, honorable members. With respect to JKIA, JKIA in its audited accounts makes a profit of 4 billion annually. 4 billion annually. As we are aware of the state of JKIA, the fact that we need a new airport, we have really overutilized in terms of the traffic and the population of persons we receive at JKIA, and the investment at JKIA is in the tune of 200 billion. So when you're talking about an investment, Speaker, honorable members, of 200 billion, and your bottom line is 4 billion, and the fiscal headroom for an asset which is 100% owned by government requires that kind of investment. The only route to go is the PPP route, where we bring in foreign investment through PPP. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Mwenje, I want to move to the next question.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Mine is a quick one. In light of this transaction with Adani, perhaps the Cabinet Secretary can just explain to us what happened with the deal that existed with Kenya Airways and JKIA, which we got the feeling that it was dying, but we've never gotten a comprehensive report on what happened with that specific transaction. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Minister.
Let me just very quickly, Speaker, honorable members, that remind the House that that bill was withdrawn by this House. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go to the next question. Honorable Mureu, these papers have got no authentication. There is no indication where they're coming from. And for now, I'll disallow them. If you find a way to have them authenticated as to their source, their content, their veracity, and their accuracy, then we'll deal with it. Next question, Mark Mwenje. Yes, Honorable Kaluma.
Point of order, Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Muriu has made a very serious claim against an investor seeking opportunity to invest in the country in our constrained economy. And Honorable Speaker, is not a light matter. Under Standing Order number 91, if you cannot duly substantiate the claims you make, then that claim, number one, must be expunged from the records. But number two, Honorable Speaker, the maker of that unsubstantiated statement must withdraw and apologize. Honorable Speaker, I'm saying this because I have information that while Honorable Muriu Mungai is saying this Adani company cannot engage in any investment in this country, as we speak, this company is engaged in very big infrastructural projects, including in New South Wales, Australia. Mega projects, mega and bigger than this one here. Honorable Speaker, we cannot have a situation where we as leaders of a country operating in this difficult economic environment come, throwing rumors there about entities which should be investing in our country. And that is the platform of public-private partnerships. The idea that we don't have our own money to do everything in terms of development you want to do. And so we invite people who can invest and benefit the public as we go along. Honorable Speaker, even if it were to be said that this company had a problem in some country, as leaders, it can only alert us to secure our deal and to secure our national interest better, not to exclude. So this rumor mongering, Honorable Speaker, I wanted to request you that having been confirmed, and it is very unfortunate, Honorable Speaker, that Honorable Muriu, who is a prominent lawyer, senior lawyer, can come before this August House with newspaper cuttings whose motive you never know. From Wamunyoro, I don't know
what Wamunyoro is.
Yeah. So Honorable Speaker, could it be expunged from record because it has a company
I have already
which
directed
we would rather
that
deal with.
the documents as they are, and from advice from the table clerk, they are inadmissible. We go to the next question, and Murray, I've told you what to do if you want to be believed. Mark Mwenje.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Before I ask my question, Honorable
I'll
Speaker.
move to the next question. On the same issue? Okay. Honorable TJ Kajwang.
Mr. Speaker, you know...
Can you mute Mwenje? Yes.
You know the member for Homa Bay is my law partner, and I always don't disagree with him on very serious issues. But as a ranking member, as I am, and I heard that from the Deputy Speaker, is it in order that members of this House should talk down other members on issues which are substantial, which are being spoken both outside and inside, to refer that members are rumor mongering? Whether it is a newspaper, no newspapers are allowed, if in Speaker's wisdom, Speaker may allow certain information, including newspaper reports. That is what I know about. I'm just wondering, for the decency of debate in this House and for the respect that members have on each other, a gentleman such as a member for Wakili, as he is, should a whole presiding officers face him and tell him that he is rumor mongering, when actually he is stating issues which are both passionate in this House and outside? That is the context of my
Thank you, TJ. I've already given direction on the matter, and Wakili Mureo, being a senior lawyer, knows what to do with his documents. Mark Mwenje.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to ask the 14th question by private notice of this year. Could the Cabinet Secretary, 1, provide a comprehensive report on the amount disbursed to KERA for the financial year 2023-2024 as of September 2024 for Nairobi County, and the measures being taken to address the audit delay? Second question, give reasons for the delay in full disbursements of the road maintenance levy funding during the financial year 2023-2024 for Nairobi City County to the Kenya Rural Roads Authority, KERA. Honorable Speaker, as the CS rises to ask, we had requested last time to expand this question, not just to apply to Nairobi City County, but to the entire country as well, with your indulgence. Thank
Minister.
Honorable Speaker, allow me not to repeat the question, but to respond that Kenya Rural Roads Authority, KERA, received a total of 42,101,040 Kenya shillings per constituency, countrywide, under the 22% RMLF. That is the Road Maintenance Levy Fund, financing for the financial year 2023-24, including constituencies in Nairobi County, which of course total to 17. And when you compute what was received and dispersed to Nairobi, it totals to 715,717,680 Kenya shillings for that 22% RMLF. The amount, Speaker, honorable members, however, falls short of the initial budgeted amount of 44,522,070 shillings per constituency, as earlier guided by Kenya Roads Board, ceiling for the financial year 23-24. The variance arose due to actual RMLF collection falling short of the projected amounts by a margin of 5.4% per constituency, which totaled to 2,421,030 Kenya shillings. And of course, the shortfall, honorable members, Speaker, is due to the amount of petroleum products that was consumed in the country. Speaker, honorable members, I have shown a table that details the disbursement received in the reporting year 23-24 and how we tranche that money and the shortfall that I've talked about. Similarly, under the 10% RMLF funding, the authority received 17,107,109 Kenya shillings per constituency against a budgeted amount of 20,237,304, which was based on KRB ceiling provided for the year. The total amount received for the financial year under the 10% RMLF was therefore 290,820,853 against the expected funding of 344,034,168, representing a variance of 15.5%, honorable members. With respect to the table that basically articulate that 10% RMLF funding, I've shown that in that table where we basically showing the 10% RMLF that was released at 17,107,109 for each constituency as shown in the table. With respect to the second question, the Kenya Roads Board collects the road maintenance levy on a continuous basis and disperses to the recipient agencies through the ministry. The disbursement for the various agencies were done in a timely manner, and I wish to clarify that KERA, or Kenya Rural Roads Agency, disperse funds on to the regional offices based on what was received or what is received. The funds for Nairobi City, County, honorable members, and all other constituencies were therefore remitted and will continue to be remitted promptly. Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, honorable members.
Mark Mwenje.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I thank the Cabinet Secretary for his response. Honorable Speaker, my follow-up is basically that these amounts for KERA have consistently been reducing. The fact that our committees went to the ground and budgeted even for these savings that were going to occur. Honorable Speaker, then how can the Cabinet Secretary guarantee that this will not repeat itself in the subsequent financial years, especially considering that the reduction that occurred and the notice that came out gravely affected projects that were going, contracts who had already committed to certain projects, and that means they are incomplete works that will remain as a result of the reduction of funds caused by the revised ceilings. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Lodge. Member for Madare. Give Anton Lodge the mic.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me make this follow-up question to the CS. What is the legal mechanism by which a ceiling which has already been committed to constituencies, work plans already done, and already some activities and advertisements being undertaken, how can the roads levy fund based on alleged reduced earnings then be able to ask constituencies that they will not be able to undertake these processes? I have a case in my constituency where, based on the savings that are now unremitted, we did a road up to 80% of it and is now at a standstill. Is there a legal mechanism by which you can be able to fall back and say that these were your ceilings, but we have now not collected enough? I think the minister should be able to come clean to avoid putting constituencies in roads that are being done to a certain extent and now will be left undone as white elephants. Thank you.
Dr. Mutunga. Minister will take.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, my supplementary question is around the same money committed to pay for contracts that had already been issued. Honorable Speaker, I have a case in my constituency where a road was estimated to be done at around 4 million, and only 3 million was available. Then I go back to the apportionment of the money and the decisions made when the reductions were done. Did the ministry not take into account that committed money is already incurring a debt and therefore make provisions for this, even as the reductions were to go on. Was that taken into account, Honorable Speaker?
Thank you. Owundo?
Speaker, I think this issue of the 22% and 10% is now becoming a thorn in the flesh. Honorable Speaker, once the works are complete, assuming the entire disbursement was made, once the works are complete, there is what we call savings. Honorable Speaker, and I want to ask the CS to clarify, up to now, the so-called savings have not been remitted to the regional offices to enable us undertake and enable the CRC, that's the Constitutional Roads Committee, to undertake the other remaining works on the various roads. When is the savings going to be remitted to the regional offices to enable them complete the ongoing roads?
Yes, Nyenze. Let's take one more from Edith, then you answer. We got the next question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mine is a question, a supplementary question on Kera roads again. There was an advertisement which was done on the 22 and also 10% roads, I think about 2 weeks ago. Then after that, it was withdrawn. They say they have suspended that advertisement. And the advertisement which had gone out actually did not have the names of the constituencies. They did not even give us, as the members of parliament, the amount allocated. And in some instances, you are having a road which is touching on 2 constituencies. So you can't tell this belongs to my constituency or to the neighboring constituency. So my question is, why was this advert suspended? Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The supplementary question with respect to basically the works that had been advertised and on account of projected revenues, which was not met because of the shortfall on the 22% RMLF collection, which comes through the fuel collection. Honorable members, I was with the Committee on Roads and Transport last week, and this question was alive. And what we have done is to compute the savings on the actual contracts achieved vis-a-vis the budget that was allocated to every road. And my team, honorable members, which is here with me, are computing the savings to be able to address the shortfall and therefore mitigate the challenge that the members face over projects that had been advertised, committed, and works done. And as of yesterday, I think Kera did pass through the board the amounts due to the shortfall and will be dispersed shortly. I think that will address the question of the shortfall with respect to the challenge that arises when budgeting is not properly done. We'll need to really look at estimates on what we think we should be able to collect on RMLF due to the volume of petroleum that the country will consume, and ensure that we do not run into this challenge. But as regarding the shortfall or whether the RMLF is reducing, I think in the subsequent questions we'll see the RMLF growing from 2019-2020 and progressively all the way to almost 100% growth by the year 2022-23. So the challenge of overestimating the revenues, going out to tender for roads on estimates that may not be achieved. We'll work very closely to ensure with EPRA and the people who give us the estimates for the petroleum products that will be consumed so that we do not get into that situation. But like I've said, as of yesterday, the board of Kera met and approved the shortfall based on the savings and will be able to mitigate that challenge. With respect to Edith Nyense's concern of the suspended advertisements which had gone out. I think we are going to re-advertise by next week. That's what I'm advised. And therefore, we'll be able to address that challenge. Let me, in the course of this sitting, I'll get more details. And if that is not satisfactory, I'll be able to address that. Thank you.
Kandia.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to ask question number 167 of 2023. Could the Cabinet Secretary explain the criteria used by Kenya Road Sport to determine the amount of funds to allocate to each constituency? 2, could the Cabinet Secretary provide a detailed analysis of monies that Kenya Road Sport has dispersed to all the 290 constituencies from the year 2019 to 2023? 3, could the Cabinet Secretary provide a comprehensive list of roads each of the 47 counties that Kenya Road Sport has allocated monies to in the recent past? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
CS.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you for the question, Honorable Joshua Kandia. Honorable members, Section 6 of the Kenya Roads Board Act number 7 of 1999 lays out how the Roads Maintenance Levy Fund, RMLF, is allocated to the road agencies, more specifically Section 6, 2D1 and 2 of the KRB Act, that's the Kenya Roads Board Act, stipulates the following allocation to constituencies. 22%, honorable members, which shall be deposited into a special bank account to be called Constituency Road Fund Account, to be maintained by every constituency of the allocated funds, and is allocated equally to all constituencies in the country and to be administered by the Rural Roads Authority. Another 10% of the allocated funds is set and allocated for the maintenance of development of link roads between constituencies, like was mentioned by Honorable Edith Nyensa, and to serve as government counterpart funds in funding works on rural roads to be administered by, again, Kenya Rural Roads Authority, and that the said percentage or percentum shall be equally distributed to all the constituencies, like the 22%, where Kenya Rural Roads Authority has the mandate. Honorable members, each constituency received RMLF funds in the last 4 financial years as shown in that table. I hope, honorable members, with respect to 22%, for the year 2019-2020, it was every constituency received 21,564,277. The following year, 2020-21, each constituency received the 22% portion at 22,642,491. And in the year 21-22, each constituency received 25,319,331. And in 2022-23, each constituency under the 22% received 42,598,809. And similarly, I have tabulated the receipt amount under the 10% critical link roads for the 4 financial years. And the totals, like I said, have moved progressively in 2019-2020 from 31,366,221 to 61 million in 2022-23 to 61,961,904, which is some good progression. Honorable members, Section 19(4) of KRB Act mandates the board to consolidate the annual roads works program. submitted to it by roads agencies into annual public roads program. You will normally see the APRP for approval by the government cabinet secretary for roads and finance. The roads funded in each constituency are detailed in the approved APRP for KERA for the previous 4 financial years, which I've attached. And Speaker, allow me to table the annual roads works program as requested. This is the annual roads program, both from the year 2021-22, 2019-2020, 2020-2021, 21-22, and 22-23, with all the annual work programs. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable members, honorable members, before we go to the next, Honorable Elisha, order. Honorable members, allow me to acknowledge in the Speaker's gallery 2 very distinguished ladies from the East African region, the Speaker of the Parliament of Uganda, the Honorable Anita Among, otherwise known as Triple A, and the Honorable Speaker of the Parliament of the United Republic of Tanzania, Dr. Julia Acton, who is also the President of the IPU. The 2 speakers and speakers from other East African community states, Rwanda, Burundi, Republic of South Sudan, Somalia, and DRC are in Kenya attending a meeting of the Bureau of the Speakers of the East African Community, chaired by yours truly. And we have had a wonderful meeting this morning. Among other things is the expansion and integration of the people of the East African region in truly fostering free movement of people, goods, and services, moving towards monetary union and broadening the integration of our region. On your behalf and on my behalf, I welcome the 2 speakers to the gallery of our Parliament. Yes, Millie Odhiambo, 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On behalf of the delegation of the IPU in Kenya, I just wish to congratulate our president. And Kenya played a very significant role in ensuring that she was elected. And also on behalf of the women of this parliament, we are very proud when we see women speakers. And we are looking forward to the next speaker, we don't want to remove you, but the next woman speaker sitting there. So we are very happy to have them and welcome to Kenya. Thank you. Both of them are known to me and I'm very happy to see them both.
They are women, all right, but they are speakers out of their competence, beyond the agenda. KJ?
Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you for this opportunity. And because you have already welcomed the very esteemed speakers, I would want to only put in one word, Mr. Speaker. One is to congratulate the ladies for being able to ascend not only to the apex of their parliaments, but also for great leadership in the continent, identifying that the Honorable Tulia Ackson is our IPU president, and Kenya played a very big role in ensuring that she secured the seat. Myself and the Honorable Millie Odhiambo were her chief campaigners, ensuring that she secures that seat. And through you, Mr. Speaker, we would just like to request that when you're having the deliberations, maybe you might want to whisper to your counterparts that we have a candidate for the African Union Commission. Maybe they might just get the message home that we are looking for that seat, and they might want to support us. Just kurudisha mkono, Mr. Speaker, and I thank you truly for this opportunity. Asante sana.
For your information, in our bureau meeting, we acknowledged that we have a candidate for the African Union Commission, and we agreed that he is indeed a candidate from the East African region and shall enjoy the support of the East African region. Thank you. We'll go back to our questions.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I am satisfied. However, I would allow
If you are
any member.
satisfied, there is no however. Let's go to the next question. The Honorable Gonzirai.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to ask question number 178/2023 and says, could the Cabinet Secretary explain why Kenya National Highway Authority, KENHA, issued demolition notices against the Mackinnon Road Trading Center buildings approved by the Kwale County government in 2020 and constructed away from the Mombasa-Nairobi Highway into brackets A109 Road Reserve as clearly depicted on the approved map of the highway. 2, explain why owners of the buildings purportedly earmarked for demolition by KENHA were not involved prior to the issuance of the demolition notices and clarify whether they shall be compensated before such demolition if the ministry plans to expand the highway. 3, provide copies of updated maps, if any, illustrating the changes done to the road reserve dimensions of the Mombasa-Nairobi Highway into brackets A109. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
CS.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Konzirai. On this particular one, Honorable Speaker, Honorable members, the notices were issued because the buildings were within the road reserves as marked through the road reserve boundary posts that were installed in the year 2018. I have got prepared an appendix 2, which, like the Honorable Member Konzirai did request, which will show that we did indeed mark the road reserve area, and we have a document that I will table to basically confirm that. The markings were installed under the project for rehabilitation of Bajuma Gate, Majia Chumvi Road, which was completed on 28 February 2018. The notices, Honorable Member Speaker, of encroachment were issued to 58 entities at the Mackinnon Trading Center on 2nd February 2023. And there are no current plans to expand the highway. However, the road reserves have been marked using concrete boundary posts since 2018, and the owners have been aware of the boundary. The ministry does not compensate honorable members for demolition of structures that are encroaching on the road reserve. Since issuance of the notices, some entities have removed their structures while others continue to encroach. And in my appendix 2 also, I have shown one entity that, after engaging an advocate to contest the notice in writing, later to KENHA for that matter, later demolished the encroaching building and put up a new building that observes the road reserve boundaries. That is also in a document that I will, wish to table to show those details as requested by Honorable Konzirai. On the third item, a planned and profile drawing for the project for rehabilitation of Bajuma Gate Majia Chumvi Road, indicating that at the time of design, a section of the building were identified to be within the road reserve has been provided for ease of reference. I thank you. Allow me to table the annexure or appendix to basically assist us to appreciate.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Gonzirai.
Mr. Speaker, what the minister is actually telling us could have some truth, but the question I'm asking is about Mackinnon Road, because the allegations about the houses which people actually removed the structures was in Taru. This road we are talking about is 57 kilometers. And I'm talking about Mackinnon Road Trading Center, where sometimes last year, I took the former Minister for Roads and Transport to that particular area. And he considered that there were no any consultation done actually with the owners. Because what the dispute is about the boundary. Because Kwale County in 2020 actually gave consent for the structures to be put. They are saying they did put their signs on 2018. And on 2020, Kwale County issued consent for the approval of the construction. So we are actually having a dispute in this matter. That's why we went to court. And one of the issues that they were supposed to give us was the historical information about that particular area, which has not been done up to now. So unless the minister confirms that he will become...
Ask him a question.
When can the minister actually confirm, or can he give an undertaking of coming to Mackinnon Road to confirm actually what is on the ground versus actually what is being said on paper in this particular house?
Tungule, take one more.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. I'm asking a question on behalf of the people of Ganze, and it is with regard to the tarmacking of the road from Bamba to Ganze to Kilifi. This is a road that was launched in 2021, and it was a contract for 3 years. And the contract elapsed in November this year. But the problem is the contractor only did 5.6 kilometers of the 56 kilometers that he was required to do. And the project has stalled for the last almost 1.5 years for now. So my question to the CS is, when is the contractor going back to the ground to restart the construction, having in mind that now the contract period for 3 years is now elapsed and there's no activity that is happening on the ground as of now? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Tuitum, this is a very narrow question about Mackinnon Road. Do you want to just hold on, Minister? Tuitum?
Mr. Speaker, sir, this is not about Mackinnon Road, but I wanted to put a question concerning Kaelo Kamukunji Motuate Road. On 22nd April 2023, the President visited the area. There is a road that is installed since 2017. The President commissioned and gave an undertaking that the road should be completed in December 2023. Up to now, there is no contractor on site. And these are the things that are making this government to be unpopular. Mr. Minister, what are you doing to make sure that that road is completed? It's almost 2 years now after the President commissioned and gave an indication that through the ministry, that road should be completed. Why don't we have a contract on the road? And when is that road going to be completed?
Minister.
Thank you, Speaker. With respect to Mackinnon, let me confirm, Mheshimiwa, I can come to the ground. I'll be in Mombasa next week. If you'll be on the ground, we can visit Mackinnon and confirm. We'll work more closely with the county government to make sure that we do not issue conflicting information. So Mackinnon, I'll outside the chamber, liaise with you on when we can meet on the ground within the market. With respect to the road, the two roads in Kanze and was that Ahero? Correct. Honorable members, we've had a challenge for ongoing projects and starting new projects. And without being general, honorable members, allow me to reiterate what I did say during my confirmation hearing before this House, that the pending bills that sits today at about 175 billion is a priority we are working on to ensure that we do settle to this House for supporting us to raise the 7 shillings under the road RMLF, which we are quite advanced in the process of securitization, and that will allow us to get all contractors back to work. I do know that in the many questions that will follow, the concern on contractors vacating works and abandoning sites is something of concern, and therefore, even as we work on the pending bills and getting back the contractors back to work in a very short while, I want to confirm that we also have to be very vigilant on how we bring in new projects, because it's one thing to start a project and 10 years down the line, we are unable to pay for bills. Honorable members, we will work together more closely in really ensuring that the budgets, appropriation, and the printed estimates that you do give us do address some of those directives that are given by leadership, so that together we can ensure that we develop this country, and more importantly, equitably. So let me confirm, honorable members, particularly with respect to those roads, that we can look at, let me look at the current, because there were supplementary questions, let me look at the printed estimate and see the provisioning on the printed estimate, how they have been covered. But even if they have not been covered, I would like to sit down with the 2 honorable members and look at those 2 particular roads, in light of the fact that there were directives from leadership. We should be able to see and find a way on how to accommodate. Thank you.
Question 013 of 2024, Ojambo Undo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Allow me, I beg to ask the following question to the Cabinet Secretary for Roads and Transport. Could the Cabinet Secretary, number 1, provide the status of the Matayos Ganjala Nahasiko Nangina Road that was tendered under 10,000 kilometers low-volume sealed roads and was reported to be under procurement, adjudication, professional opinion as at the commencement of the financial year 2017-2018. Number 2, provide an update on the proposed Lake Victoria Ring Road project, and particularly the implementation of the Gazette Notice number 2056 of 25th February 2022. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Waziri.
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, honorable members. Again, the question from Honorable Dr. Oundo with respect to this road in Funyula, Matayos. Let me state as follows, honorable members, that the Matayos, Kanjala, Nakashiko, Nangina Road was among the roads tendered in the financial year 2017-2018 under the low-volume seal roads program. However, the road failed to attract bidders at that time, and the ministry through KERA was consequently unable to proceed with the proposed works. The road failed to receive budgetary allocation subsequently in the subsequent years to date. However, routine maintenance on the road to ensure it remain motorable is undertaken. The government is currently prioritizing completion of ongoing and incomplete projects, like I said in my previous statement, and settling of the significant pending bills to contractors from certified road works countrywide. And as a result, honorable members, the ministry shall prioritize the construction of this important road once the foregoing is achieved and funding is made available for its construction, following which the road shall be tendered afresh. But let me also just request the member that we can sit down. It doesn't look fair that a road had been tendered and subsequently not funded, and we can see how to prioritize that road. Honorable members, a list of projects affected person was submitted to the National Land Commission. The gazettement of notices of intention to acquire private land affected by the project on behalf of Kenya was completed through Gazette Notice number 2054 of 25th February 2022. However, issuance of notices of intention to acquire to persons affected by project or PUPs and inspections of the properties for valuation purpose has not been carried out. The ministry through Kenya is committed to executing the exercise as soon as funds are available. And again, let me undertake to follow up and ensure that this is done soonest. Thank you.
I think it's as clear as that. Do you have a supplementary?
Speaker, it is heartening for the minister to acknowledge that people of Matayos and Funyula constituency have been unfairly treated, unfairly and discriminated against by the subsequent regimes. And so it's encouraging to say that you look at it, and I hope when I saunter and go to his office, will not lock me out and let me wait for 3 hours, yet I'm supposed to come and give quorum in this house. But Honorable Speaker, I also just want to draw his attention that at one time on 9th March 2021, the then Cabinet Secretary, Honorable James Macharia, clearly indicated the project will be prioritized in the financial year 2021-2022. It's again very unfortunate that again the goalpost has changed. Now the funds are not available, but I'm encouraged by the statement, and I will walk into his office now that truly, as Speaker, you are my witness. If the doors are not open, I'll come and stand on top of your desk to ensure that he opens for me his doors. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Next, those are just kind comments. Minister, you don't have to respond. Question 069 of 2024, member for Westlands.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I wish to ask the Cabinet Secretary the following questions. Could the Cabinet Secretary provide details of the approved design of Wayakwe, including the road profiles, all road signages, road lightings, service lanes, and pedestrian walkways and crossings, and clarify whether the ongoing construction works on the named road are being carried out in accordance with the approved designs. Question number 2, to state timelines for completion of the Kangemi and Ntumbuini overpasses and restoration of access roads destroyed during the constructions. Question number 3, to explain why there are no footbridges, pedestrian walkways, and road markings on the said road, and further explain why the provided pedestrian crossings are kilometers apart from each other, thereby escalating road accidents on the said road and disadvantaging school-going children, the elderly persons, persons with disabilities, and emergency response teams. Question number 4, to explain why the ministry approved the construction of Westlands Roundabout footbridge without incorporating a ramp for persons with disabilities, and state whether there are any plans to have one installed. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Minister.
Thank you, Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Timothy Wanyonyi. On this particular question, allow me again, honorable members, Speaker, to go straight to the answer to the question. And let me state that, Honorable Speaker, the design details for James Kishuru Rironi A8 Rehabilitation and Capacity Enhancement Project, Wayekwe, are, as indicated in my response, design details for James Kishuru Rironi Road, which is tabulated main road, kilometer 3 lanes, 25.346 kilometers roadworks program, and we have executed that works, and there is no outstanding works on that particular section. On the second area, which is the lanes on both sides, right and left-hand side, the 38 kilometers program, we have only executed and worked on 6.384 kilometers, and there is outstanding 31.616 kilometers. That is works outstanding at about 83%, still quite significant. On the collector road, or the feeder road, which is 21.2 kilometer, we have finished works on 11.28 kilometers, and we have 9.92 kilometers to go, some 46% of works outstanding. On the interchange, slip roads and ramps, where the number of kilometers is 20.86 kilometers, we have basically scratched the ground only with 0.2 kilometers, and we have 20 kilometers to go, 99% outstanding. On Gitaru Falls Clover interchange, which is 5.594 kilometers, honorable members, we have done 1.953 kilometers, and there is 3.637 kilometers to go, which is 65%. On the NMT footpath, this is the non-motorized traffic lane, or the walkways, to ensure that we are pedestrian friendly, which is 50 kilometers, 50.69 kilometers. We have not started. On access to government facilities, Nairobi School and Kefri, we have also not started. We have some 4.3 kilometers to go to do in that section. As regarding the structures, which include the bridges, the vernacular underpass, pedestrian underpass, pedestrian footbridges, retainer wall, and all the other structures, let me say as follows. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, and maybe we should invite Tim Wanyonyi to join us on Friday, because in a meeting that was chaired by leadership yesterday on working on the airport road, or Wayaki Way, all the way to the airport, will be meeting on Friday with Nairobi County government on the beautification, and particularly how to work, even as we work on these structures, to decongest the Westlands roundabout and ensure that we do this work very quickly, in agreement with the designs and the works that are also being done on the sites, restoring the past stage, because that place is very congested, and we'll be meeting in my office with the Nairobi County government on Friday at 10 o'clock. So there's a lot of work we are doing on the Westlands space to ensure that we do open up and beautify that area, because it's currently very congested. Works are also being carried out in accordance with the proposed design, save for instances where works have not been fitted to site conditions. On the second question, the contractor is currently working at Gitaru interchange as per the developed schedule of priority of works based on availability of funds. The contractor is, however, not working at full capacity due to delayed payments amounting to 3.3 billion. And once payments are made, and like I've indicated, this is a priority assignment we are undertaking to make sure that all contractors go back to work. Let me confirm that within that 2 months I've indicated, will ensure that the works in that Gitaru interchange is completed. As a matter of fact, after swearing in as the Minister for Roads and Transport, I did receive my handover credentials from Minister Murkomen at that Gitaru interchange. So I will ensure, Honorable Wanyanyi, that I push and ensure that we finish that interchange. The project is generally an access control highway with interchanges for vernacular access, crossing and turning at interchanges located situated at 2 to 3 kilometers. Similarly, as designs, there are pedestrian crossing facilities throughout the project at an interval of 500 meters. Honorable members, the design has provided for 23 in number footbridges, 6 in number pedestrian underpasses along the project road. 6 pedestrian underpasses are substantially complete as we speak and in use. 1 footbridge is currently completed and in use. The remaining 22 footbridges will be completed once the contractor resumes works. And like I said, we are working around the clock to make sure that we do make the funding available. The pedestrian footbridge in Westlands was constructed as a replacement to the footbridge previously installed at the St. Mark's Church slightly up the road that had been demolished to accommodate the viaduct for the expressway under the PPP project. On the 4th item, the pedestrian footbridges in Westlands was constructed as a replacement to the footbridge previously installed, like I said, at St. Mark's, that was demolished for that viaduct. The Westlands footbridge design could not accommodate ramp for persons living with disabilities due to the lateral constraint caused by limitation of space to the extent of the road reserve, which would have required the government to acquire additional land for construction of the footbridge ramps as additional land for use as way leaves for the relocated water and power utilities. However, honorable members, the authority is cognizant of the need for inclusivity and access for PWDs and is pursuing a possibility of constructing an underpass at Westlands that will cater for the needs of all users and ensure that our PWDs are also fully accommodated. Kenya is in the process of procuring a consultant for the feasibility studies, preliminary and detailed to Kisan Busia A2 road. Proposals are scheduled to open on 15th November 2024. Thank you.
Member for
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the Minister providing the answer, although I could hardly hear him from where I sit. Mr. Speaker, behind here there is a lot of echo, and the microphone that Waziri is using is not audible. So I could hardly hear what he was saying. I heard him mention about inviting me to a meeting, but I don't know which one. Maybe if he could repeat that. And then I also want to ask about the Kangemi Bridge. I asked this question to the President yesterday, and he said they are undertaking to complete that bridge. This bridge is an ISO and is causing a lot of, it has disconnected Kangemi from Loresho. And this is a very important, this is a very critical road. So I would like to know if the Minister has any plans, the government has any plans to complete this bridge. And lastly, on the ongoing dwelling of the Limuru Road, just around Aga Khan Hospital and Aga Khan Primary School, there was a footbridge for the people crossing from one end to the other, especially school children at around that age, that place. And that bridge was removed. The road is almost complete, but there's no signs of putting back that bridge. Could the Minister state if there are plans to reinstate that bridge for the safety of the school children and the people crossing that road around that area on Limuru Road? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Minister, let's take KJ. Hold, Minister. KJ.
Mr. Speaker, I thank you for this opportunity, and I also want to thank Waziri Chirchir for the attempt to address these issues. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Minister has talked about the situation in Westlands. He has also given an assurance to the Leader of Majority that the work at Getaro Bridge shall be completed within 2 months. Sandwiched between these two constituencies is a constituency called Dagoretti South constituency. And we have a very precarious situation at Odhero 87, the bridge that is crossing over Waiyaki Way, which is now a dangerous spot for motorable traffic, for borders and people on foot. In fact, the accidents that have been happening there are so gory. I hope they have been reported to the ministry. And the question, Mr. Speaker, is the ministry in the interim having any plans for any mitigation works as we await the mega works to one, make the bridge motorable so that it can depopulate the traffic coming all the way from Karen and the traffic that is coming from Gong Road? And secondly, when do we expect to see the proper completion of this bridge at Odhero 87? The second question, Mr. Speaker, has to do with the works on Naivasha Road, which are also connecting to this work. The works that are the interchange at Agoreti Corner and the dualing of Naivasha Road. What plans does the ministry have on these very critical projects that would help decongest Ngong Road and connect all the traffic that does not have to go into the city to be able to offload onto Naivasha Road and connect onto the Waiyaki Highway? Mr. Speaker, I truly thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I wish to ride on just in addition to what the Honorable Member for Westlands has said. Honorable Speaker, there is a road, Outer Ring Road, which has now become on one side, but you have people and children crossing from the other side. So, Honorable Speaker, my question is, what measures would the ministry be willing to undertake to mitigate before they do the footbridges, especially on Kangundo Road? And if they would consider using PBC contracts and put traffic marshals who can help get these sick people who are crossing into Mama Lucy, get some of the children who are crossing to the other side. And for Outer Ring Road, Honorable Speaker, while the footbridges are there, the lighting is the issue. So you have vandals who actually come and intentionally vandalize those lights. But we've tried to engage Kura and the ministry to tell them we have to come up with innovative ways of lighting these bridges and also still using PBC to put some security on those footbridges so that people can stop crossing on the road at night and end up getting hit. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Can you answer those?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Wanyonyi, I did indicate that Westlands around...
Are you able to hear the minister now?
Thank you. I did indicate, Honorable Speaker, Honorable members, that with respect to Westlands roundabout and the congestion that we all see with the matatus and the kind of challenge with the road works which is uncompleted, there is so much that we are doing. I did indicate, Honorable Chair members, that the leadership did call us for a meeting yesterday with the county government, and we will be having a meeting on Friday to not only look at how to quickly finish the works that have been planned. And I do know that you did ask for drawings. We have very well articulated drawings on what we want to do. We need to harmonize with Nairobi County government on Friday and see how to quickly decongest that place, including the beautification and even putting grown trees that we are going to transplant to make sure that we restore Westlands, as it were. So I did indicate, Chair, that if Honorable Tim Wanyonyi is available on Friday at 10 o'clock, you can come over for a cup of tea in my office and we'll transact the business of the Westlands roundabout and that particular area all the way to the Kangemi Bridge challenge, where we currently need to pay some approximately 200 million on that particular project. The China which is the contractor on this particular road corridor, has a pending bill of 3 billion, and like I did indicate, this is the priority we are working on to ensure that all contractors resume work in all our counties in Kenya. With respect to Limuru Road, Dagoretti South, KJ, Gitaru, the Udhiru 87, and the Naivasha interchange. I want to, honorable members, KJ, I'm answering your question. So, honorable members, with respect to Dagoretti South challenge, as we do that interchange, there's a lot of work that we are undertaking to open up the city. We have just almost closed the Northern Bypass facility. I want to confirm that we really need to work on opening up the whole of that area as we finish that Gitaru interchange to ensure that the Dagoretti side also do benefit. And we can spend more time with Honorable KJ to look at the specific program that we need to work on to ensure that we decongest the city with all the bypasses that we are building so that we can have movement of goods and movement of people facilitated quickly. With respect to Naivasha, is that Naivasha Road interchange, is that the Dagoretti corner? And the dueling of Naivasha Road, can I get a response on that? While I address the Mwenje question, Honorable Mwenje on Outer Ring, where with the Mama Lucy Hospital, I do agree with Mheshimiwa. Let us work on lighting, and that is not a big ask to work on lighting, to work on marshalling of traffic, and to improve how people access the hospital across that wide corridor. We should be able to pay attention to that, and I'm here with my team. We will work on that, and I undertake to basically reach out to Mheshimiwa Mwenje and address that. Thank you, honorable members.
Thank you, Honorable Maluli Njendi. Maluli Njendi, question deferred. Stephen Mogaka. Stephen Mogaka, question deferred. Dick Maungu.
Thank you, Speaker, for the opportunity. I raise question number 78 of 2024. Could the Cabinet Secretary explain reasons for the delays by the contractor in upgrading of Maseno-Kombewa Road to bitumen standards, given the deplorable and impassable condition of the 5.1 kilometer stretch from Maseno to Opasi in Luanda constituency? 2, state the measures that the ministry has put in place to ensure that construction of the said road resumes as soon as possible and further state completion. Thank you.
I'm told that question relates to the same road as the question 142 by James Nyikal. I'll allow him to ask so that you answer them together. James Nyikal.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to ask question number 142 to the Honorable Minister to state the reason for the delay in completion of construction works for upgrading to bitumen standard of Maseno-Kombewa Wangarot Road, RWC 119, since its commencement way back in 2016? And two, Mr. Kandamini state when the Ministry of Roads and Transport intends to commence works on the said road as it has stalled and when it is expected to be completed. Mr. Speaker, this is the same road that at one end, on honorable members, it has stalled, and then at the other end, in my constituency, it has stalled. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Speaker, for guiding that question number 78 and 142. And honorable members, let me respond to the fact that I acknowledge that the completion of this particular road, Maseno-Kombewa project or road project, has delayed beyond its construction completion date of 2021. It was supposed to be completed in May 2021 for the subcontract. This arose mainly out of the financial constraints facing the main contractor of the project, Heya Bishan Singh and Sons Limited, who commenced work in 2016 and constructed 12 kilometers of tarmac before pulling out of the project. In the interest of completing the project, the contractor requested approval to assign sections of the works to a suitable assignee. The ministry granted this request, and the works were initially assigned to MS Agrimac Consortium LLP, who commenced work on 14th February 2019. However, the assignee also faced financial challenge and decided site after achieving only 2.64% physical progress in 8 months. The project was then subcontracted to MS China Railway Number 10 Engineering Group Company Limited, who commenced work on 4th of December 2019. An additional 12 kilometers has been achieved under the subcontractor, who has also slowed progress considerably, citing non-payment of certified works. The contractor currently has an outstanding payment in what we are calling pending bills on this particular road of 114,858,231. The contractor is currently installing cross culverts along the 5.1 kilometer stretch from Maseno to Opasi in Luanda constituency to ensure it remains passable ahead of the main works, which was assigned to MS China Railway Number 10 Engineering, like I mentioned. The overall physical progress of works for the entire road project is today 68%. To date, with 24 kilometers constructed to pitman standard. The ministry on the second issue has prioritized the payment of all pending bills, like I indicated earlier, including those of this particular contractor, MS China Railway Number 10 Engineering Group, to facilitate a full resumption of work at this project. Towards this end, honorable members, the ministry has paid some 54,975,670 Kenya shillings in the current financial year to the contractor, which was the allocation for the project this financial year, and has received a commitment from the contractor on the resumption of the works as efforts are made to settle the remainder of his payment as soon as necessary. So, honorable members, again, we're working around the clock to raise funds through securitization. We will then come to this house for voting or allowing us to spend that money once we receive, and ensure that we get back all contractors back to work. Pending bills is a big issue, and like I said, and I reiterate again and again, it is our top priority, and we are working on that. In fact, I did chair a meeting at 7 o'clock this morning to look at the timelines on when we can walk, and we're beginning to see the end of the runway with respect to how we can resolve this challenge. Thank you.
Maungo then Nyikal.
Thank you, Speaker, for the opportunity once again. Indeed, what the Minister has captured, it's true that this road began in 2016. The Speaker has well captured this road has been assigned twice to contractors who vacated sites. And as you know, that a road under development or construction cannot be maintained under the normal maintenance, meaning that today that road is impassable. That road is orphaned, Mr. Speaker. I would wish the Cabinet Secretary to help us understand what remedies we are putting in place to ensure that this road is motorable. As we speak today, it is true that China, the contractor was back some 2 weeks ago to put the pipes, the culverts. But the road is impassable and cannot be accessed. Mr. Speaker, that road that we're talking about touches Luanda constituency, goes through Seme, all the way to Rarieda. It is a very important corridor for the people of Luanda and the Western Circuit. So the minister would really be kind, if the minister would be kind to tell us what strategies he's put in place to ensure that this road is passable. I'm sure he has some emergency funds under the 10% CS allocation, which can cater for that, Mr. Speaker.
Nicole.
As the honorable member said, my colleague has said, this road, 2016 up to now, has been assigned 3 times. First of all, it was a higher Bisansi, then Agrimax, and now China Railways. And Mr. Speaker, although the honorable minister is saying 54 million has been paid, the information I have, because I'm following this lady, the contractor actually says even with that, it's not going back on site, particularly on the final bit towards Kalandini, 5 kilometers. In fact, Hayabi Singh kind of stuck on the first bit, which is a honorable member side, and is actually doing those culverts. And Mr. Speaker, if you look at the kind of work, last 2 months ago, I actually lost my temper. If you look at they're using some equipment that are being pulled by hand so that they can do the road. So I think, Honorable Minister, I think you need to actually take more keen. This road actually connects through Luanda Kutieno all the way to Mbita and actually all the way to Sori. So it's actually a very major road and it's stuck on this side. So can we really know, this 54 million was paid. Is this China Railways really going back to work? And is Hayabi Singh really able to complete the Maseno site? Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, honorable members. I did meet China Railway number 10 Engineering Group, and it is a company of capacity. Having met them to basically sensitize them on what we are doing to settle all the pending bills, and having paid the 54.9 million out of the 114 million outstanding, honorable members, let me undertake to ensure that this particular road, with this contractor that I said is a contractor with capacity to make the road motorable. I'll work on that. Between today and Friday, I'll have met the contractor to ensure this road is made motorable. And more importantly, because the contractors are beginning to see hope in what we are doing to pay the pending bills, ensure that they accelerate work. Because even then, the outstanding, in spite of the fact that we owe them 3 billion in total on this particular road, having paid the 54.9 million, the outstanding, about 50% of that, the same amount, we should be able to get them back to work. And I want to confirm, Dr. Nikal, that this contractor will get back to work. I'll work on that. Thank you.
Yes, Kajwang, then Makali.
Mr. Speaker, permit me to ride on this. This is the gateway to my rural home. If you come from Luanda, it is the only direct way through Uyoma in Rarieda constituency, and as you get to Beta through the ferry. So it is a very important road for which I am interested. Mr. Speaker, I listened to the Cabinet Secretary, and I'm sure that he's working on it. But this concept of assignment, I think let us now deal with the issue of principle first. Because as you hear, he is saying that there is a contractor who was on that road, then there was a subcontract to which it was assigned. we have had problems with this concept of assignment.
An assignment is not a subcontract?
Well, they understand it of course it is not, but they understand it in the roads ministry as a subcontract. It is a contract. The question, Mr. Speaker, I'm asking is that these people who benefit from assignment, who are themselves independent contractors, and the ministry approves that in transaction between the main or the principal contract to the other, that is where the problem is. Because the first person has billed that bill 1, and that bill 1 is the most it is the most substantial part of the funds which would go into that road. When this other person to whom it is assigned takes the contract, the person basically he takes the contract with the terms and conditions, but there is no money with which the whole thing can be done. So this is the issue, that this second person definitely is not able to complete the road. So, Mr. Speaker, would the minister consider to determine the contract, to terminate the contract? The first contractor, in terms of principle, the first contractor, when he fails, the Bishan saying, they should have terminated that contract and then sought for a new contract in all its terms and conditions.
So are you challenging the validity of the assignment?
I am saying that the question in principle is what is a problem in finishing this road.
Okay.
Could the minister consider that instead of going this assignment principle, to terminate a contract and then re-advertise it and get new people under the terms and conditions that the ministry would approve? Thank you.
But Honorable Kajwang, if the members are interested in the road being completed quickly, is in an assignment faster than a retendering? Because a retendering will go another 1 year. An assignment is just a legal instrument, which as a good lawyer you know. But anyway, Makali, okay. Give him.
Mr. Speaker, when this debate ensued, it came to my mind that probably going forward, the ministry should adopt a national policy that this assignment where a contractor lives for the other is really the problem that is hindering the completion of roads.
We hear you. Makali?
Thank you.
Take that.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to ask this supplementary question. Honorable Speaker, there is this road that links Kakamega County and Bungoma County. The Navaholo, Dorofu, Sangalo, Muskoma Road that was abandoned way back in 2017. His predecessor, I think, was in this house and assured us that they were going to advertise the road. The road was re-advertised. Can the Cabinet Secretary confirm to this house and the people of Kandui that, one, the tendering process as a result of the re-advertisement is now complete, and when do we expect the contractor on the road so that I cease these endless visits to the Office of the Director General and the anxiety the people who stay in that particular place are having, because that road has remained like that from 2017 and is totally not motorable at all. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, honorable members. Let me take the concern on assignment of the road, which is basically the assignee, let me state, takes the full responsibility, including providing performance guarantee for the works that has been assigned. And why do we assign, honorable members? If we were to go through a tendering process, of course, we take time, but secondly, and more importantly, you want to maintain the old rates. You know that if a road was awarded in 2017, if you assign, we assign with the same terms. If we retender in 2024, it will come with attendant costs of today. So there is merit in assigning where there is a contractor willing to be assigned. And like I said, with a company like China Railway Number 10 Engineering, they do have capacity. I did indicate that I had a meeting with them last week. I'm going to call them again. The outstanding amount of about 50 million is not much. I'll make sure we start with making the road motorable. A case in question, for example, is when we did this road from Kwale to Kinango to facilitate movements of the constituents to come to Mashujaa Day. And we did ask the contractor to make the road fast motorable so that as they do the road to pitment standard, the road is in very good moram condition. I will undertake to ensure that China Railway Number 10 makes this road all the way to Luanda motorable, fast, and secondly, as an assignee with full responsibility and performance being assigned to them, do really finish the road now that we have a contractor, which I said is a contractor with capacity. And finally, we are equally working and ensuring that we pay all the pending bills in due course as we work together to support the securitization of the 7 shillings. With respect to Navukolo, Mheshimiwa Makali, I'm told the same has been completed, an intention of award, the tendering process, an intention of award issued, a letter of award has been, intention of award has been done, and subject to those number of days lapsing, the award should be done by 14th November 2024, which is tomorrow. Again, we will continue to pursue to ensure that the challenge that really runs across most of the counties we address, particularly through the securitization and ensuring that we pay the pending bills. Thank you.
Thank you. Basil.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to ask question 79 of 2024 to the CS Road and Transport. Can the CS explain why there has been significant delay in the completion of constructing Matuya Kalakara, Kivandini Road to Chasioni Road in Yata constituency? Question number 2, can the CS provide an update on the expected timeline for the tamaking of the Katangi to Matu Road and the Ndalani to Makuyu Road? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Minister.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to respond as follows. The upgrading to pitment standard of and maintenance of Matu, Kalakala, Kakuku, and Junction A3, Kathulani, Junction C439 roads were awarded to Quito Civil Engineering and Company Limited on 24th February 2017, following a competitive tendering process at a tender sum of 1.268 billion and a performance-based routine maintenance of 130,363,027 Kenya shillings. The contract agreement was signed on 5th May 2017 and the contractor given the commencement order on 21st July 2017. The contract commenced on 19th August 2017 and the works were scheduled to be completed 30 months later, which should have been 19th February 2020 with a defect liability period of 12 months. However, the contractor demobilized and abandoned works, forcing the employer to subcontract the works to other contractors. The following is how the project was subcontracted and the progress so far. 8 kilometers of the 40 kilometers on Matu Kalakala Kaguku section has been subcontracted to MS Daima Construction Limited to fast-track process. The subcontractor has completed up the first seal of the first 4 kilometers and has done 1.7 kilometers for second seal service dressing. So far, he has raised a certificate for payment and is awaiting to be paid to continue work. What we do, honorable members, we do segment the road into many segments, and as you finish the particular section and issue work certificate, upon inspection, you due for payment. But that is outstanding, in line with the challenge that we have all talked about over and over again with bending bills. Another 12 kilometers, honorable members, of the 40 kilometers of work has been subcontracted to MS Uso Ngiro Contractors Limited. The contractor is working from 0 kilometers to 10 kilometers, junction C439 on Sioni section, in accordance to provision of clause 4.1 of the condition of the contract. The subcontractor has completed the first seal service dressing for the first 4 kilometers of the section. On 30th July 2021, MS Sifel Construction Company was subcontracted 12 kilometers of Matue Kala road section from kilometer 8 to kilometer 20. The subcontractor has completed the first and second milestones up to the second seal service dressing. And on October, honorable members, 14, 2021, MS Kitho Civil Engineering Company Limited was instructed to reinstate the road section from 12 kilometers to 16 kilometers to its original state before he abandoned work. After completion of the reinstatement, MS Kitho was then allowed to complete the road section on 12 November 2021 up to a blacktop or tarmac as per the contract. The main purpose of this process was to fast-track the work progress. The contractor has managed to complete 4 kilometers of the blacktop on the first seal dressing. On 7th December 2021, Litho Supplies and General Traders Limited was awarded the subcontract for 8 kilometer Kalakala to Kaguku section. Currently is ongoing with earthworks, and he has managed to complete about 2.5 kilometers of top subgrade. The subcontractor has also done a cross culvert within the first 2 kilometers. To date, honorable members, 79 months, 263% of the contract has elapsed against an overall progress of approximately 54.3%. Currently, Speaker, honorable members, there are no plans for tarmacking Katangi to Matu Road and the Ndalani to Makuyu Road due to insufficient budgetary allocation. However, there are plans for routine maintenance and spot improvement. The allocation for CP Muranga, Kisiki, Ndalani, Sophia Road in the financial year 24-25 is Kenya shillings 6,816,949, and for Matu, Kathiuni, Igombe, Katangi Road is 12,268,999, respectively. Those are the amounts which are available for maintenance in the printed estimates 2024-25. Thank you, honorable members.
Basil. Give him the mic.
Thank you, CS, for the response. If you look at the road from Matu to Ekalakala, there are so many potholes, yet the road has never been completed. So we ask, why did the engineers, were there poor quality supervision on the road? Number two, there are several Maram Ips that have been left between Kivandini to Chasioni Road, making motorists not be able to use the road. Number three, they skipped Mbembani to Kivingoni Market, that section which is within Yata constituency, and actually my constituents have been asking why was it skipped, and so many local suppliers were never paid. So we request the CS to look into that and to respond. Thank you.
Thank you. Women Rep Tarakaniti. Give her the mic. You are assigning the wrong person. There you are.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, my question goes to an issue that is so disturbing, an issue that is disturbing the people of Tharaka Nithi County, the neighboring counties, the entire country and the world. The Killer Nithi Bridge. Mr. Speaker, 100 as a month ago, without the people of Tharaka Nithi and the entire country burying their relatives from the Nithi Killer Bridge. Mr. Speaker, sir, many have acquired disabilities from the Killer Bridge. And that's why, Mr. Speaker, I'm asking the Minister, what action has the Ministry undertaken or is undertaking towards redesign, rerouting, or erection of permanent accident arrest interventions at the Nithi Bridge black spot? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Mutunga again. Let me give people who have not asked Mutunga.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have several roads in Tigania West, and none of them has works going on. Mr. Speaker, I do not want to speak about St. Anne, Kagaene, Myompon, because I want a meeting with the minister. But Mr. Speaker, my desperation is that the capture of this road has always been avoided. I would like the minister to know that I have written, I have talked to the ends of the institutions, and they do not capture these roads. Mr. Speaker, during the last state visit, Kera in his wisdom scrapped the tarmac of one road because of the potholes and on the fear that the end of state will pass on that road. Up to now, there is no center allocated to that road. It's not in the books. Mr. Speaker, there is another road from Kiajai to Isiolo.
You are making a speech. Ask
Mr. Speaker, what I would like the minister to tell us, when we went to health, to energy, he had a very clear way of rationalizing. We would like to know whether this rationalization formula is going to be operated on or rather utilized in the Ministry of Roads and Transport. Because, Mr. Speaker, what we have is total discrepancy in terms of allocation of resources in the roads. You realize that some constituencies have no roads, while others have got 7 or 8 roads. So there is a problem in this country, and we need that problem solved. What is the promise of the minister? Again, there is a road that
Order, Mutunga.
Mr. Speaker, let me explain this particular one.
Let him finish. Give him to finish.
Mr. Speaker, there is a road which I forced upgrading. I went to the National Roads Committee Convention, the National National Roads Board Convention, and they pushed for movement of a road from Kera to Kenya. In other words, from to be in Kenya. That road has not yet been gazetted for 3 years in a row. I would like to know why the road has not been gazetted as at now.
Rueda, but you guys, you MPs also be fair to the minister. He's come with answers on questions that were asked. Now we are springing questions from every part of the country. But go ahead.
Asante Speaker. Ni vile mwakilishi wa wananchi na wakituona hapa leo tuko hatujauliza, tukienda huko tutakuwa tuna shida. Mwanzo nimpongeze waziri. Waziri ni muungwana sana. Tukienda ofisi yake tunapokelewa vizuri. Nataka tu waziri ajue kwamba Lamu Mashariki nafikiri ndio eneo bunge peke yake Kenya haina hata inchi moja ya barabara ya lami. Hata inchi moja hakuna. Na barabara zetu za Lamu Mashariki ni 3. Ni Mtangawanda tu Kizingitini, ambayo hiyo najua mwaijua. Naomba tafadhali muhakikishe mtuambie zimefikia vipi mikakati yake. Angalau na sisi tuwe tuna lami. Barabara ya pili ni kuanza Hindi tu Kiunga, ambayo ni kilomita kama 120. Hiyo barabara sahihi haipitiki kabisa kwa sababu ya wale wahalifu wanaweka IDs. Sasa imefungwa kabisa. Wodi 2 Lamu Mashariki huwezi kupitia hiyo barabara mpaka upitie bahari. Sasa imefungwa, imekuwa lazima uende na boat, na saa nyingine bahari ni shida sana. Kwa hivyo naomba tu waziri alifikirie kama hana majibu, lakini afikirie hata pale pabaya tu kutengeneze kidogo ili barabara ifunguke. Nasikia pesa ilipewa Mchina, iko atafute tu, na kama insecurity si shida, KDF wako tayari, wanafanya kazi vizuri, wanapeana security. Kama imeshindikana kwa ministry, wapewe KDF wafanye ili barabara ifunguke.
Asante sana. Give her.
Bwana Spika, kwetu la Mashariki mazingira tofauti. Sisi maeneo yetu sio ile nyinyi mnaita land mass, sisi ni water mass. Sasa kwetu zaidi kwa ministry yenu pia tunahitaji sea wall, yani zile ukuta za bahari. Sasa kuna kijiji kinaitwa Mbwajumali, karibu kinabebwa na bahari chote, watoto wanabebwa, na kilijengwa kidogo, contractor hakumaliza kakimbia. Tafadhali, iko pia kwa ministry yako, mtu angalilie. Asante bwana.
Aichumu. Gichimu. Member for Gishugu.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Speaker. The people that I represent of Gishugu find themselves in a situation akin to Honorable Basil's. And I don't want to go to because the minister or the CS has already given an elaborate plan on how to revive the roads that have already stalled. But my question is, are those roads that have already been contracted, are you able, just like